Hello everyone, welcome to the You Matter series. So today I'm going to discuss one of the most trending topics among the newly married couples, which is whether do we want to have kids or we don't want to have kids. So now when we talk about whether we want to have kids or not, so this video is not about me convincing you or me not convincing you about having kids. I have no business there, but I do want to, as a mother of a 4-year-old and a working professional, I do want to highlight couple of factors that you should look at before you make that decision of having or not having a kid. So, what happens nowadays, the problem that the couples are facing is that there's too much pressure from the parents and the society to have a kid. People say that your life is not going to be complete. People say that क्या करोगे पूरी ज़िंदगी, किसके लिए कमाओगे, all of that. And on the other side, the real problem that the couples are also facing is that they have no tangible support system. Most of them are nuclear families now, because the jobs are available. High class jobs are only available in specific cities of India, and either you have to go out and stay without your parents, all alone, right, manage everything alone. Even if you end up with a maid, I mean, having a kid is not a very simple, easygoing thing. It requires a lot of support. So these are the 5 things I want you to understand, look at, reflect, discuss with your partner. Be very clear on these things before you plan your pregnancy, because until you have already planned and you are already pregnant, or you are expecting another child, or you want to bring in another child to this world, please look at these factors very keenly. And the number one factor is, are you financially stable enough that if one of you, husband wife, and most likely in our situations it is wife, frankly speaking, in Indian societies there are very very few families where husbands take leave. And again, even the support system, the job system in India is not such that even the paternal leave is not a lot, unlike in foreign countries. So, and eventually it's the women who ends up taking the sack. But anyways, that's a thing to be understood, that is it okay if your wife leaves a job? Are you guys going to be equally financially stable, or not equally, but are you guys going to be decently doing well for next 2 to 3 years? And there is a probability that if that long is the sabbatical, her career will get hit. She might not be able to get into the similar kind of a job, similar kind of a role, and similar kind of a salary structure again. She might have to start again from a little low level. Are you guys okay with that? Point number 1. Point number 2, when you have kid, during pregnancy or even after the delivery, do you have any kind of a support system? When I say support system, that means that are your parents in a position or are willing to stay with you and take care? When I say parents, it's both the parents of the mother and the father. Are your parents willing to take out that time and stay with you? Now the thing here is that the parents who are like retired, or especially who have been retired from working jobs, they usually do not have a lot of obligations, and they kind of are able to support their children in these matters. But when there's a situation when you belong to a business class family and you are not into business, you are into a job, then it is very difficult for your parents to kind of, or even in-laws, to leave stuff and come and stay with you. And if you have to end up leaving everything and go and stay with them, then I want to just remind you that it's not COVID anymore. The hybrid working has started, and even in general, you will have to go to office. It's not going to be a work from home culture, so you will not be able to do that. So that means that at your city, the city where you do a job, you have to figure out if you have a support system, and figure out, talk to your relatives, talk to your parents, and discuss with them about this. Anyways, since they are already discussing with you about having kids, it's better that you also openly discuss about these points and understand the kind of support that is available to you, rather than being surprised after delivery that there is nobody, right? It creates a lot of anxiety and stress, and then managing kid is no small game, right? So that's the second point to look for. So the point number 3 is, if you do not have enough support, you will have to hire support. When I say that, you will have to go ahead and hire a nanny, a babysitter. And there are different types of babysitters available. They come in full day babysitters, 9 hours babysitters, um, for 5 hours, it depends. And there are charges for that, and there are agencies for that also. um, so you can always have a look at that. And you will also have to then and see that will eventually go down a little, because once your kid is 3 years old, they will start going to toddlers, preschools and stuff like that. So the amount of the time that they need to spend with nanny will gradually reduce, and so will the cost. But yes, initial 3-4 years are going to be really something which you have to think. And that brings me to the point 4, which is you need to assess the cost implication. Now you cannot, after having a kid, shy away from your responsibilities, or shy away from the fact that I need to keep a nanny and my wife, so that my wife works, or I just want my wife to do the nanny job and the job and everything together. And it's not going to work out. She's going to have a breakdown. Eventually what she will do is she will quit. It's not going to be very healthy. And even if that's not the situation, it's in general a very good practice to assess your costs and see if that whatever per month increase in cost, for example roughly 8-9k increase in the cost per month, if you take after having a kid as an expense, then is it okay as for a one person salary to afford it? Or even if two people, then you will have to end up even if there are two people doing the job, then you have to have a full-time nanny, so add that cost to another 8k. And I don't know, nowadays you get it in sometimes 12k, 14k, 18k, it depends on the area you are living in, the kind of city you are living in, right? So assess all of those costs and try to come on a a situation where you and your partner especially are absolutely in sync about what do we want to do, right? It will not only make your entire pregnancy journey more comfortable, stress free, but because you will have a plan ahead. And see, after having a kid, it is very difficult to figure out new things and new surprises coming your way. Anyways, your kid is going to give you a lot of surprises. So at least for all of these standard things which we know are going to be there, it is better to always think through them before we jump into the situations, right? Jump in or jump out of those situations. Okay, now the fifth most important point is that you have to know that the kid is going to take a considerable amount of time from your schedule, right? Whether you are working or you're not working, you need to know that your kid will at least take some good 8 hours of you as soon as they are born. As soon as they are born, it will take a lot of time. I think after like 3 months or 4 months, it will reduce and then again increase. I mean, after 6 months you have to start giving solids to the kid, semi solids, and then after 1 year you start giving proper solids to the kid. And while you might think that all of these things nanny can do, she can do, but just be aware that the kind of nannies that we get in India, and this video is addressed to Indian population, the kind of nannies that we get here are not so educated. So while they will be able to give you your baby food, they will not be able to talk to them the way you would talk to them. And make sure that you spend enough time with them, at least good, while feeding, while sleeping, whatever, just spend good enough 8-10 hours with them, at least 2 to 3 hours of quality time with them, even if your kid is really 1 year old, really small, because they will learn from you how to talk and all of those things. So you have to understand that much amount of time will have to be spent with them. And once they are growing like 2-3 years, again you have to spend a lot of time. After they start going to the school, a good 3-4 hours is when you can consider yourself free without nanny. And then for another some time the nanny can take care of the kid, and then you can take care of the kid. So again, the time will reduce, the type of engagement will change. I can make a separate video on that, but you need to consider all of these 5 factors. I'll just quickly summarize it for you. One, you need to understand if you are financially stable enough, and is it okay for both of you if one of you stops working? Second, do you have sufficient support system in your family? If not, then what is the support system that you will have to seek from outside? What is the availability? Fourth, assess the cost implications and make sure it doesn't stress you. And five, you should know that a considerable amount of your time is going to be spent with the kid, and you have to be mentally prepared for it. So before you jump onto any conclusions, please look at this 5 parameters. This is something that I'm talking to you from my very personal experience. I'm myself a mother of a 4-year-old kid, like I told you, and I have 12 years of working experience. I did not take a break in between, and it was not a very easy journey, and I want all of you to think through it, because a lot of couples are not thinking through these points, probably just 1 or 2 points. Probably a lot of those decisions are impulse decisions, or they are kind of a reaction to the circumstances and the people around them. So don't do that in haste. It's not a decision to be taken in haste. And take your time, have a look at this factors, and let me know in the comment section what do you think about them. If you like this content, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much for your time.